Heidi's up next in Lexington, Kentucky. Heidi, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, guys. Thank you for taking my call today. I appreciate it.
Sure. How can we help?
My husband and I have had our own business going for 13 years. It's survived COVID so far.
Good.
It's not doing well.
All right.
We have a violin shop, and our biggest chunk of yearly business is the back to school rentals.
Yep.
So we don't know, what's going to go on with that. Schools are in turmoil like everybody else is, but it's not something that I wanted to do to begin with. It was his dream. I just did it because I didn't know what else to do. But I am absolutely miserable in what I do, and I don't see him happy in it anymore. I mean, even after 13 years, he still thinks he has to work until 10 or 11 o'clock at night, every night.
Heidi, what happens when you talk to him about this?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What happens when you sit down and say, I'm not enjoying this.
Yeah.
You are miserable. I know you and I love you. You're not doing well. What does he
He'll tell me, go ahead and find something else to do. But when I talk to him about what else I would like to do, he doesn't react well to it. He gets angry. And he's just one of those, though, that reacts to fear and uncertainty with anger because he doesn't know how to handle it.
So give me an example recently, the most recent case where he said, then find something else to do. And you did, and you came and told him about it and how he reacted. Tell me what that was that you found and then how he reacted.
Well, I had two options, that I have thought about for months, years even, financial coaching or cybersecurity intrigues me daily.
Which one of those two, if I guaranteed success, cannot fail, which one of those two do you choose if I say you can only choose one?
I would go to cybersecurity.
I knew that, John. Ask me how I knew that, John.
How'd you know that, Ken?
Because you heard the tone in her voice change.
It totally
didn't you?
changed. Yeah.
Like I could literally feel the smile through the phone.
Right.
So now
I am smiling right now thinking about it.
Well, good. Now we're on to something.
I want to see him happy too, though.
Well, but I'm going to let John. I'm going to let John address that in a moment. But I want to address what you need to do, John. I'm saving that one for you. Is that okay?
Oh yeah.
Even though I do have an opinion.
Of course you do. Yes.
So he has given you permission, Heidi, to go find something else, and you did.
Yeah.
And then when he didn't react in a healthy way, you kind of went, oh, gosh, and you let it fall by the wayside.
And I let it go.
Yeah, well, I don't want you to let it go. So now I want you
I don't want to.
Well, you're not going to. How about that? So here's what happens. So you're clear. That's stage 1 of my 7 stages to meaningful work. The second stage is getting qualified. Do you know what it's going to take to get qualified to get a cybersecurity job?
I don't.
Well, that's your
I
next.
haven't gotten to that yet.
Well, now that's your homework assignment. All right. You're going to get several homework assignments on this call. But your first homework assignment is figure out what do you need to know? That's the education question. What do you need to do? That's the experience question. How much that's going to cost? That's the economic question. And then how long this is going to take to get you qualified? That's the expectation question. Those are the 4 things that you need to find out, because here's some good news. In fact, Joe and Madison, just last week, I think I shared an article that the hottest jobs and the hottest industries in cybersecurity is one of them. So Heidi, there's a great opportunity for you here. And when you go get the answers to those questions, now you've got a plan that you can present to your husband. That's going to be a lot easier for him to swallow, John, when he sees that there's a well thought out plan that gets Heidi there. And Heidi, you also need to show him how you're going to make more money and how you're going to be happier. And that may give him some options. But I think you've got to address his fears about you doing something else by answering all of his unanswered questions. So that's what I want you to do on the what should Heidi be doing with her work life. Because here's the deal. You being miserable and he being miserable in the family business that you two are the employees is not good for your marriage.
No, I mean, I love working with my husband. I love that. I wouldn't know what else to do. He's my best friend.
Right. But you're miserable because of the work he's got you doing, because you hate it.
And it's as much, it's not just the work that I don't like. There's parts of it that, they're great, but overall, the uncertainty,
Yeah.
the up and down. I mean, somebody burps in Washington and our business fluctuates.
Yeah, I get it. John, what do you think about the marriage dynamic here?
So Heidi, you called us, so I am assuming that I can be super honest with you. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
All right. So you made a couple of statements that I wrote down here, that your husband responds to fear and anger, right? He gets frustrated, and you come in and say, hey, I'm miserable. And he says, well, then go find something else. And then you say, great, I'm going to find something else. I'm going to suggest you respond to fear and anger too. You just do it differently. And when we get scared, when we get frustrated, we get angry. And angry points us towards something that we care about. Our good friend Chip Dodd mentions anger points us to stuff that we care about. And here's the thing. Your husband, when he gets scared, he chooses busy. Busy's a drug. Busy and activity and working till late at night, that is a drug. But you know what else is a drug? Misery.
Yeah,
Choosing to go, that is a choice that you make. And when you put an idea in front of him and say, what about cybersecurity? And he goes, you are desperate for him to pull the plug on that, because you know what that does? It lets you off the hook.
Oh,
absolutely.
It keeps you from having to go and get online, find an online certification.
That's absolutely right.
For cybersecurity, which there are a million of them.
Yep.
You could be enrolled and starting by
I
Monday.
didn't know if I needed a degree or if it was just certifications, because I have next to zero background in computer science.
Doesn't matter. Does not matter.
Doesn't matter. You know why you don't know? Because you're scared.
I'm absolutely terrified, because that's how I reacted to my first husband and to my mother, both of whom were extremely toxic personalities.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to tell you,
let it
Heidi,
die, let it go away, it'll be better.
So in counseling, we call it leakage. And that's a gross word, but here's the deal. It will find a way out. And
absolutely.
Usually it comes out at real inopportune times. When you're trying to have a date and you end up in that weird conversation and suddenly you're in a fight that you didn't even, it comes out. And so you can choose to, like Ken said, tonight, tell your husband, I love you and I hate to see you working so much in a job that you don't like, but I love you. And then that's it. And then he's already given you permission. You all talked about it as a couple. He said, if you want to find something else, go find something else. Then tomorrow, you're promising Ken Coleman, John Deloney, and America, you start looking for answers.
I gave you the 4 questions, Heidi, and the reason that you're scared is because you don't have those answers yet, because it seems like an unclimbable mountain. But I'm telling you, it's not unclimbable. Let me set you free to start your little research homework assignment. You do not have to have a college degree to get hired and to succeed in cybersecurity. So let's just go ahead and take that burden off.
That's right.
But this is what's going on. John, you nailed it. Because she didn't have the answers to those questions, it's the scary mountain. And what you just tied in is beautiful in that it's been it's my husband's fault.
Right.
He's poo-pooing it, so that's why I haven't pursued it.
That's
right.
right.
She's making him the scapegoat.
It's easier that way, right?
Well, of course it is.
And couples do that. And then he's probably saying, I'm having to work so late because my wife didn't even love this, so I'm trying to pick up her extra slack.
Yeah,
and then you find yourselves on a couch,
I would suggest
2 inches apart, but 2,000 miles away in your hearts, right?
Yeah. Let me throw this at you. See what you think. I don't know this to be true, but I suspect that the reason he works so long and hard in the violin business, he works all these hours, because she said he still feels like after 13 years he's got to work 12, 14-hour days. You could hear it winding up.
Right.
Is it possible that he works that long because he's just trying to avoid confronting the fact that he's not happy?
Busyness is a drug. And listen,
there it is, folks.
Going back to our earlier conversation.
That's good.
We're not busy right now.
No.
We've been locked at home. Now, we're running around like crazy. We're on Zoom meetings. I get that.
Right.
But we have filled our lives up with, all right, my kid goes to ballet, followed by baseball, followed by I've got golf. I've got all these things. Those things have all just gone off the table.
Yeah.
And we're having to look at our spouses.
Yeah.
Look and interact with our kids in the backyard, right?
Oh,
we can't just distract ourselves. And so what I want Heidi to do, and I want everyone listening to this, find out what your drug is. What is your numbing agent? Yeah. And the big classic ones like drug or sex addiction, those we glorify those, but millions of us default to busyness.
Yeah.
They default to misery. My default setting is withdraw. I pull back. I can be completely lonely, completely disconnected from my family in a crowded room.
Yeah.
And my wife will say things like, where are you?
Yeah.
I'm right here, right? I'm right here.
Right.
I'm not here, right? And so find out when you choose misery, and then I want you to lean in and choose connection.
Yeah.
When you feel yourself pulling back, go, nope, I'm plugging back in. I'm going to go hold my husband's hand. I'm going to kiss him on the forehead, his sweaty, violin dust-covered forehead.
Wow.
And I'm going to choose connection there.
Sweaty and vile, very graphic forehead.
Violin.
Oh, violin. Okay,
Not
that makes
vile,
sense.
yes, sweaty
Makes
violin.
sense. I dropped the last syllable.
That's all
That's on
good.
me. I do want to point out something that John said that is absolutely true. The reason that busyness is a drug, John, is because busyness has become a status symbol in our Western world.
That is
Think about
exactly
it.
right.
We go to the picnics, we go to the school basketball game, and we start connecting with people we really don't even know that well.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, what's going on? Oh, I'm so busy. And
Yep.
it's a status symbol.
Look how
I got so much going on.
people
I can
need
barely
me.
breathe.
My job is so,
Right.
right.
And it's what it's become. So busy's become the status symbol because nobody wants to go, so what's going on? Well, not a whole lot, actually.
I'm working. Or a worse thing that we can't do? You know what else we can't do? How's work going? It's great. Like I'm in a place that I love. My boss values me. We don't get along all the
Why
time, but he
can't we
values
do
me.
that? Why can't we say that?
Because we're a culture addicted to problems.
Oh, I see.
We are addicted to negative
All right.
connotations, negative spins. We do not have a cultural vocabulary for things are going pretty
It's
well.
very interesting. I will tell you that it took me a second to catch up to that. I think you're right. I don't like to be around people that are that way. The ones that where you say, how you doing? And you're just saying hi,
Yeah.
but they actually answer it. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like you see them at church, and they go, how you doing? Well, I got a boil in the middle of my back, and looks like I got a case of gout coming on. You're like, I just wanted to say hello. I really, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
All right.